Fettuccine noodles cooked to perfection in a rich, luscious cream sauce in this simple recipe for Instant Pot Fettuccine Alfredo. Hi everyone, Kristen here. As someone who suffers from a chronic disease, I believe homemade is best, but it doesn't need to be complicated. You guys have asked me for more Instant Pot pasta recipes, and I'm so excited to share with you today's recipe. This recipe for Instant Pot Fettuccine Alfredo is date night worthy, it's restaurant quality, it's want to impress your boss worthy, but it's easy enough to make for a weeknight dinner. So let's get cooking. When I say easy, I mean easy. This is literally a dump and go recipe. It's so simple, but the results are spectacular. The sauce on this, it's so good. All right, so to our Instant Pot, we're gonna pour in 2 cups of low sodium chicken broth or vegetable broth. And then to season our broth, I'm adding in a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and 2 teaspoons or 1 clove of minced garlic. Now for the noodles. The #1 tip to cooking fettuccine perfectly in the Instant Pot is to layer your noodles in a crisscrossing fashion. That way they cook up evenly and that they don't get all stuck together in a big old clump of pasta. Yuck. I have 8 ounces of dried fettuccine today that I'm breaking in half, and then carefully layer your noodles so that the layers are in alternating directions. Do not ignore this step. If you throw your noodles in the Instant Pot without layering them correctly, the fettuccine noodles are guaranteed to stick together and you're gonna regret making this dish. On top of the noodles, I'm dolloping 1 tablespoon of butter that I'm just cut into small little cubes. I've tried making this recipe without the addition of butter, and I'm telling you, just that little bit of butter really gives the Alfredo sauce a nice finish, and so I wouldn't recommend skipping it. Over the noodles, I'm pouring in 1 cup of heavy cream. Now you've heard me say you should not cook with dairy under pressure. Heavy cream is the exception to this rule, but there are no substitutions for the heavy cream. Don't use half and half, don't use whole milk, don't use anything but heavy whipping cream. The heavy whipping cream has a high enough fat content that it won't curdle when it's cooked under pressure. No one said this dish is light, but I'm telling you, it's worth the splurge. Now at this point, if desired, you could add some chicken tenders right on top of the noodles or boneless, skinless chicken breasts that have been cut into 1 to 2 inch strips and lay those right on top of the noodles. The chicken will cook up in just the same amount of time that the fettuccine will, so it's a great opportunity to add a little extra protein if you like. I like my fettuccine without chicken, so at this point, I'm ready to pop on my lid. Make sure my vent knob is pointed towards sealed. And now for our cooking time. Whenever I'm cooking pasta, I cook for half the time that the box of pasta suggests, plus 5 minutes of natural pressure release. For fettuccine, we're gonna set our cooking time to high pressure using the pressure cook or manual button for 6 minutes. After the cooking time has elapsed, let pressure release for exactly 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes has elapsed, we want to release any remaining pressure to stop the cooking process so that our noodles don't turn to mush. To do this, you want to use a long wooden spoon or spatula of some sort. Stand back from your venting knob so that you don't get burned with steam, and then you're going to knock the vent knob from the ceiling to the venting position. We're going to open up our Instant Pot. It looks like it's pretty liquidy in here, but that's exactly what you want. As we stir our noodles, the noodles are gonna absorb the sauce. Plus, the Alfredo sauce is the magic of this recipe, and we want to be sure that our noodles are properly coated in that Alfredo sauce. Give the noodles a stir. You can see that they separate perfectly here. That's because we layered them correctly. Now I want to add Parmesan cheese. I'm adding in a 1/2 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Not the time to use the stuff that you get in a canister. Instead, you want to use a fresh wedge of Parmesan and a microplane to grate into your fettuccine. I'm gonna pop my lid back on my Instant Pot here and just let that sit for just a minute or two, just for the cheese to melt and the pasta to finish absorbing the rich sauce. Then we're ready to dish it up. Look at that sauce, it's coating all the noodles so perfectly. Just a little left to sop up with some bread, just the way I like it. I'm gonna go in for a bite. Wow, it's so impressive. It was so simple to make. Yeah, it's just divine. It's so creamy. The noodles are cooked perfectly. I'm telling you, you guys are gonna love this one. You are also gonna love my recipe for Instant Pot spaghetti with meat sauce. You can catch that recipe in my next video. Until then, happy cooking.